Welcome to update 49 in Bloons TD6 and the early access in which we are going to be showcasing the new Desperado Tower as well as the brand new map called Sunset Gulch. I want to give a quick shout out to Ninja Kiwi who are giving us early access yet again into this brand new update 49 and allowing us to showcase some of the new stuff happening. So without further ado, we're going to be jumping into the brand new map, but before that I wanted to showcase just a couple of new stuff happening in this update. So first off, we have a new Tales quest. This one is called the Tale of Desperado, which is essentially a showcase of the new tower. We have a brand new quest called the One Hero Solution, in which you need to beat Rogue Legends rounds with a one monkey army, and then the last one is a tutorial quest for Ezili. Now this guy right here is the brand new Desperado Tower, and these are all of the upgrades. And I wanted to mention that Desperado Tower is going to need to get unlocked through pops. You're going to need to get 3.5 million pops in order to unlock the tower itself, and then you're going to need to gather experience individually to unlock every single one of these upgrades. And if you guys don't want to do that, there is a Desperado unlock pack in the store ready and waiting for you guys. So if you're going to take this path, you are going to instantly unlock the tower plus all the upgrades including the tier 5. You're going to get 3 tier 5 insta monkeys, so all of the paths, and then you're also getting an exclusive avatar and an exclusive banner. So if you guys are planning on buying the Desperado unlock pack, please don't forget to use my code EathandRead in the Bloons store. It really helps out the channel. Alright, now let's jump into the brand new map, which is called Sunset Gulch. This is going to be an advanced map. It's a really interesting map, but the tower, guys, the Desperado Tower, oh my god, I've already tried this thing. He is amazing. Alright, now before I buy the Desperado Tower, I want to do one last thing. I'm going to place a portable lake, and this is one of the brand new features in update 49, and it is that, yes, we can now have ice towers in water. How cool is that? Alright, so let's get rid of this thing and let's start this game rolling. Alright, so I'm going to place the Desperado Tower like this. This is the perfect map for this tower, and this is a tower in which you need to just kind of start thinking differently about, I guess, in comparison to the other towers in BD6. So the base tower, the 0001, attacks with a gun and essentially attacks twice very quickly, and then it reloads. And essentially, this guy, as you guys can see, he doesn't have any pierce, so it's just like 2 targets that he can attack, or it's gonna be 1 target and he's gonna attack it twice, and all the attacks do 1 damage. So not exactly, you know, that spectacular to begin with. Now let's start showcasing all the paths. So let's start with the top path, and then some very interesting interactions happening with this tower, so I have so many things to talk about. So let's start with this one. This one is the first upgrade called Quick Draw. Now this one makes the Desperado Tower attack faster the further the Bloons are from him, and he loses attack speed when Bloons are getting in close. So that's why this is the perfect map, because they're kind of, you know, keeping it a little bit farther away. And I guess this is what you want to do. You want to have them like here, I guess, on the sides and away from the Bloons if you're going for the top crosspath, in order for him to basically attack faster. So I'm going to get the Quick Draw, and this second upgrade is called Standoff. These are pretty cheap ones, so Standoff is like $200, nothing too spectacular. And this one attacks faster the fewer Bloons are in radius. So again, you want to keep him as far away from the Bloons, but not too far off. So I'm going to buy this one as well. And basically this is what happens. So this is just like a huge amount of attack speed, and then the more Bloons there are and the closer that they get to him, he just starts attacking a little bit slower. Now I'm going to combine this thing with the bottom crosspath, and this bottom crosspath is actually, they kind of work against each other, if that makes sense. So look at what this thing does, and I'm going to explain this thing in a second. So this upgrade is called Wanderer. The Desperado attacks faster, but he loses attack speed when more monkeys are placed nearby. Yes, so you want to have this tower away from Bloons, but also away from other towers. And so when I buy this upgrade, you guys are going to see like this little buff icon appearing above him. So this icon saying X3 basically means that we have 3 monkeys left to place before he loses in the entirety of his attack speed bonus. For example, if I place a dart monkey like this, it's going to go to X2. So now he's essentially attacking slower because there's a tower in his radius. So if I sell this tower, he's now going to start attacking faster. And this is kind of a problem, because if you want to get something like an alchemist, like the alchemist is obviously going to take away some of the attack speed. So I'm not exactly sure how we're supposed to combine this thing and how the numbers work, but this 202 actually, Desperado, is kind of messing with me, because read what this upgrade does. The Nomad one attacks faster the more Bloons there are in range, but the top one says that it attacks faster the less Bloons are in range. I don't know how this thing works. Is like the 202 the worst crosspath because it's kind of working against each other? I have no idea, but this next portion, when lives are lost, it gets a temporary range and attack speed increase plus a small amount of cash. And again, this is like a super cheap upgrade, 280. So let's try and leak some balloons. Actually, maybe we can know this. I would assume it gives like, I don't know, the equivalent of like whatever the balloons give. So we're gonna leak like 4 red balloons. So we got I'm not sure how much money we got. I think it was like $2 for every red balloon or something like that. And now this is the attack speed boost that he essentially gets because we leaked a life. This lasts for a short time. You have this buff icon appear up top. Now here's the thing, I'm actually gonna sell this guy because I don't like the 202 crossbat. In fact, I think if you go for the top crossbat, you want to be going for the middle one. So I'm gonna rebuy it and let me show you guys these other ones. So this one is called the Eagle Eye. This is just basic camo detection. It's very cheap, 150. So if you're thinking about, you know, in terms of camo detection, you can have a very cheap camo with this guy because the base tower is 300 and and this upgrade is 150, right? But this next one is called Bullseye, and it basically gives his shots a chance to crit. And again, read what it says. The chance to crit goes up when the target balloon is further away. So if we buy this thing, this goes really well with all the other top upgrades, right? So you want to have him away from the track, away from the balloons, and he's going to be able to crit more. So that's a really interesting way to think about this tower. So for example, it's round 13. This is not the most difficult round. It's only like greens and balloons and red balloons, and this is a 220. So yeah, this guy, as you guys can see, he's just like a single target type of a tower. So he's not exactly, you know, being able to deal with all these balloons. So I guess we can set him on strong. Like, he's gonna eliminate the yellows. The damage he does is still 1 unless he crits, and the crits are 4x his current damage. So yeah, he's gonna be one-shotting the yellows, as you guys see right there. So let me switch this guy back to first, and I'm gonna buy Big Iron. Basically what this does is it upgrades the pistol to a 6-shot revolver. So the way that he attacks now is 2 shots and then a pause, and then 2 shots and a pause. And if you buy this one, it's essentially gonna be 6 shots and a pause, and then 6 shots and a pause, and so on. So yeah, this is a very interesting damage increase for sure, and obviously, you know, a lot more damage being dished out. But this next one, the 4th tier, is called Twin 6s, and basically instead of attacking with 1 gun, he attacks with 2. So I'm actually gonna buy this thing. I mean, it's not that expensive, we can kind of afford it. Yeah, and we spent so much money on this guy, like 8k, and look at him. He is, as soon as there's like a bigger wave of balloons, he's just gonna leak everything. So this is like a purely single target oriented crossbat so far. Oh, and by the way, he cannot pop lead balloons, so we have to give him an alchemist in order for him to gain a lead popping power. Alright, now let's move on to some other upgrades. As you guys can see, there is a second pillar, and I know exactly why this pillar is placed like this, and this is probably for the middle crossbat. So let me buy the middle crossbat, let's have it like this, and then we're actually gonna relocate it. And I don't want to reveal too many things, but let's buy the upgrades that we already know. So this is the camo, this is the bullseye, and then this next one, the tier 3, this is actually an ability. So he's gonna gain a rifle, and as you guys are gonna see, he's gonna gain 2 ranges essentially around him. So a lot of things happening with this upgrade. Let's just read it first. So this is the take aim ability. The target monkey gains improved range, accuracy, and camo detection. Desperado gains a long-range rifle to use against distant targets. Rifle shots excel against 45 targets and can pop a lead balloon. So this is basically its lead popping power. And so the reason why he's got 2 radiuses essentially is that whenever the balloons are like into this outer radius, he uses the rifle to attack. But if the balloons get inside, then he's gonna switch to the pistol. So essentially what you want to be doing is you want to be keeping the balloons into this outer radius if you want to be using the rifle, and the rifle is a lot stronger. It does 12 damage per shot if I remember correctly. Let's just set this guy to strong, and then I'm gonna combine it with the top crossbat so we get a little bit of extra attack speed, because the fewer balloons are in radius and the farther they are, the faster this guy attacks. Now this specific crossbat has a very, first off, cool animation when he attacks, and this, even though it looks like a single target attack, it does have a tiny bit of AoE. So if you have like balloons that are clumped up together, it's gonna snipe a couple of them together. Alright, so we bought the bounty hunter upgrade, but I forgot that we haven't used the take aim ability, which is a tier 3 ability. This is, by the way, the second tier 3 ability. Only the Dark Knight, which is a tier 3 tower, that has an ability. That's the second one. I'm going to use the take aim ability on the round 40 Moab to show you guys what it does. So essentially, I'm going to use it on himself, so he's basically going to get a lot of extra range, and boom, there goes the Moab. That's it, we got a couple of crits. And let's read up on Bounty Hunter. So Bounty Hunter and this ability, basically you get a new one. It's called Marked to Pop, and it pauses attacking to mark balloons and then proceeds to attack all of the marked balloons. Marked balloon priority is shared with other X2X Desperados, and marked balloons take more damage and give more cash. And let me show you the ability. So you click the ability and essentially it shows these. Oh, that was let's do the mark ability again. So I'm gonna give him the take aim so we see more balloons, and let's use the mark. So as you guys can see, he's doing these X's. It's really fast, by the way. So he's kind of marking all the balloons, and then bam, 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 he just shoots all of them with extra damage. And let's move on to the third and the bottom path, which is my absolute favorite one. Alright, so the bottom path has these upgrades that we already saw. The Wanderer one, which makes Desperado attack faster but loses attack speed when more monkeys are nearby. So again, he gets this like a buff up top. Nomad upgrade, which makes him attack faster the more balloons are in range. You guys remember this one. And then this is the tier 3 Enforcer. Now he uses a shotgun that can knock back balloons when they get within close range. So basically, when you're upgrading into the Enforcer, you want to have balloons inside of your range because that's how he gets extra attack speed. And if you guys are noticing, we got a second Wanderer buff. Now this first icon represents the pistol, which is the outer range, and this second one represents the shotgun, which is the inner range. And if you guys remember, the more monkeys there are, the slower he attacks. So if I place an alchemist like this, for example, let me actually get a little bit closer, you guys are going to notice that this thing is going to go to X2, so this is the pistol, but the X3 one on the shotgun stays the same. And this is really cool because I guess I can have a village like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the pistol is losing attack speed, which is the first buff, but the shotgun still has it. That's because there are no towers into this small radius. It's a very interesting way how this tower works, right? Like, you've never seen a tower work like this, where you're either moving it away from balloons or you're moving it away from your own towers. Like, it's really weird how it works. I guess you want to combine this guy with the melee crossbow, right? Because the top and the bottom one kind of go against each other in a way. And the tier 3 is kind of nice. It's only $2,000, but my favorite one is this guy, the Avenger. So I'm actually gonna buy it, and we're gonna read it in a second because we have a Moab, and as you guys might be seeing what this guy does, right? So the Avenger upgrade makes the shotgun release shrapnel and can knock back Moabs. And when lives are lost, weaker balloons only take 1 life each for a short time. So look at this thing, for example, around 55, a lot of ceramics, and he is just gonna be owning. As soon as he pulls out the shotgun, bam, entirety of this ceramic wave gone. Alright, so round 63, let's see how we do versus these wave of ceramics. Then we need to check out the tier 5. So this is a huge wave, and as soon as this guy pulls out the shotgun, I'm telling you guys, this is my absolute favorite path. He's insane. Alright guys, so far we've seen all the tier 4s, and it's time for us to check out the tier 5. So we're gonna start things off with the top path. This guy is gonna be called the Blazing Sun, and he's $17,500. He is quite cheap in comparison because there are some tier 3 towers actually more expensive than this. So let's buy this guy right out of the get-go. Here's how he looks. This is a really cool look, by the way. Look at the guns. They have some flames coming out of them. Now I have a theory for this guy because sometimes, as you guys might be noticing, he is setting balloons on fire for some reason. Yeah, look at this thing. You guys are seeing some of these mobs up front. They are being set on fire, and I have no idea why that thing is happening. Now I have a theory, and my theory is that after a certain amount of attacks, he starts setting balloons on fire just because he's like attacking balloons super fast, something like that. So what I set out to do is I set out to overclock him and see if it has something to do with the attack speed, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So my theory currently is, because he hasn't stopped attacking for a while now and all these guys are being set on fire, my theory is that after a certain amount of attacks, of consecutive attacks, he just starts setting balloons on fire because he's attacking really fast with the revolvers, right? It's kind of a lore-wise thing. It would make sense. And then as soon as he stops attacking, he needs to kind of recharge the attacks, and after he reaches, like, I don't know, like let's say 50 attacks, then he's gonna start doing it again. So after this round ends, this guy should not be getting set on fire when he starts attacking him at first, and then after a certain amount of attacks, then he is gonna set them. Yeah, there we go. It's exactly like that, right? It's obviously not explained in the description because Ninja Kiwi. So we're gonna have to figure out these things on our own, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Alright, so that's the Blazing Sun, pretty much the simplest tier 5 out of all of them, and I'm actually gonna sell this guy so he doesn't interfere with the other guys, because I want to showcase this guy next, the Desert Phantom. Alright, now before buying the Desert Phantom, I actually want to show you guys why this is my favorite path, because this guy obviously has a knockback, which you guys saw, but the knockback not only works on blue mobs, not only works on BFBs, but it works on ZOMGs as as well, and that is absolutely insane. Look at this guy pushing back ZOMGs, guys. I don't think this is legal. This reminds me a little bit of the Mermonkey launch, actually. The Mermonkey, the bomb pad one, was kind of OP when it launched. I'm gonna buy the Desert Phantom, by the way, so let's upgrade the weapons. This is basically more knockback, a lot of AoE, a lot of like these nails flying around on the sides. Basically, this guy is an AoE powerhouse. So whatever you saw in the 024, it's exactly the same tower. I don't think it gains like any special properties besides, you know, the weapons just being a little bit stronger. But look at this guy, just hold everyone in place. This, by the way, a tier 5 that costs about $30,000, so the second most expensive one out of all of them. But I feel like the knockback and just the AoE and the power that this upgrade has, this is just such an amazing one. And also, this one is probably the easiest one to understand and to play around, because basically this guy wants to be inside of Bloons but away from towers. So all the, you know, like the alchemists in the villages, you can make everything work with this crossbow basically, and you want to put them inside of the actual like a normal tower, right? So yeah, just take a look at this guy demolishing everything. We have like 2 Ultra Boost tanks on him, and the rest is just pretty much nothing too complicated. I guess we could buy the Homeland just in case, but yeah, this guy is, and this goes for the tier 4, by the way, he's holding back ZOMGs in place. This is absolutely insane. He does need a little bit of attack speed though, so we might actually lose on this one, or not. Like, please hold. He's critting a lot, that's for sure. He also gets the crit ability. There we go. And I think it's time for us to showcase the last one, the middle path, tier 5, the Colon Justice, which I'm gonna send on last, which is really important, and I'm gonna buy him. And just take a look at what this guy does. Are you guys watching this? So he attacks with one single bullet, but that bullet does have the chance to crit, is very powerful by itself. Also gets all these other abilities, but basically he's just like a marksman. So you want to be keeping the Bloons on the outer side of the radius. Let's what do we want to do? I think he actually does kind of suck. I think all these guys, with the exception of the Blazing Sun, maybe all of them suck versus big Bloons. I'm actually gonna buy all tier 5s now. Let's use the Homelands. Let's actually make sure we defeat this bad, and then we want to showcase the other ones a little bit more. So let's what do we want to do? I guess we can mark some Bloons. I'm not sure if the marking works on like mob class Bloons. I've not noticed that yet. I think it like for sure works on small Bloons, obviously, but I'm not sure if it does on big ones. And just take a look at what this guy does. So basically just uses a rifle, and then it's just like a very long range shot. I guess you could give the take aim to himself essentially, so he's gonna improve the range by a lot. And you want to be keeping the Bloons as far away as possible thanks to these you know, top pad upgrades. So basically this is what this guy does. But before we go, I want to showcase one last thing, and that's in the accessibility panel, is the tower placement snapping. So essentially, I heard that there's like a mod for this, but essentially if you're struggling to find a spot for a tower, like let's say I want to place it, I guess it works everywhere, but I guess I want to place it somewhere around like this, but I'm not going to find the spot, it's going to leave a silhouette at the back, and then you can just, as you're getting closer, it's just going to snap back onto it, and I guess you can place it. Round 111, actually, I think this is going to be our last round, a bunch of ZOMGs, so let's go out with a bang on this one. Let's use the Homeland ability. This guy is set on last. Let's I guess let's Ultra Boost the guy in the back, and let's just evaporate all these Bloons. I have this guy on Strong, the Blazing Sun. He's dealing with the big Bloons, and yeah, that is gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank you again to Ninja Kiwi for giving us early access. I cannot wait for this update to drop because there's so many things to try with all these Desperados, but that is gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to use code EathandRead in the Bloons store, and I'm gonna see you guys very, very soon.